Hello everybody, I think it's 1 o'clock. I'm just going to twizzle you around that way a little bit. 1 o'clock and I am live from my studio again. I think this is probably the 3-week mark. I've been doing this for a good 3 weeks now. Talking to you at 1 o'clock from my studio, talking to you about what's going on with me, what's going on with my head, and showing you some of my work, giving you little insights into my studio. You can see the chaos behind me there. Ellis came into the studio yesterday and she said, "Oh my God, it's chaotic." It's I'd love to say it's really creative chaos, but at the moment it's just chaos. It's a little bit of stitching for the NHS. There is remnants of the quilt project. There's bits of my own artwork. I've got all my sewing machines set up to do different things that I need them to be working on at the moment. And I've just got off the radio. It's been a really busy morning already. I've just got off Radio Leeds and I was talking Gail through a little brooch project. So I put a link to that on my Facebook page and you can find that there and have a listen and have a giggle. I tried to get in as much info as I possibly could about the quilt project, about these daily feeds, about my work, but there's only so much you can say in 6 minutes, which is why I need something daily, because I've got lots to say. I was desperate this morning to do some work on my unfinished piece, my silver lining. I know that this afternoon there are thousands, literally thousands of meters of fabric arriving to make scrubs. That's in the Home Valley area, and so I just have to go into full-scale production from now on. I've been making hats and bags, as I showed you, but that's quite small scale in comparison to what's about to happen. So I thought, while I'm waiting, in the calm before the storm, I would do some more work on silver lining. You are my silver lining. These little chats every day are silver linings. I had to find a silver lining in our bizarre situation, and if you haven't been watching me, you'll realise that or if you have been watching me, you will realise that silver lining comes in many forms. One silver lining is that I have more time in my studio to work. Another silver lining is that I have now time to chat to you. The virtual log cabin quilt project is another silver lining. It's brought more people together. It's maybe got some people to get their sewing machines out and give it a go. We have had submissions now from so many countries. So flattered. Thank you all so much. There are still more to come. I think the word still needs to spread that we can make this virtual hug. I talked about this on the radio programme earlier, about how this is our textile version of a hug. That's what a quilt is. We need that comfort, and it's exactly what this can do. Be part of a massive virtual textile hug. That's my quilt offering to you. Do love a good quilt, community quilt project. And I have a meeting after I talk to you. I've got a Zoom meeting. Who's loving Zoom? Who's got their head round Zoom? Who's got their head round getting rid of that echo on Zoom? That's what I'm going to be working on after I've spoken to you. And I'm talking with do I know about the COVID-19 quilt that's on Instagram? No, I don't. Do you know about the virtual log cabin quilt? Kind of the same thing. But I will check that out, Julia. Thank you. What was I saying? Yeah, my next little meeting, or big meeting, is about a huge collection of community quilts all over Europe, hopefully. And because of COVID-19, I might extend that to all over the world. I don't know. But fingers crossed. It was my anti-Brexit or reaction to Brexit quilt notion, community quilt notion. And there'll be more information on that probably after I get some confirmation of funding or something. Don't know. After I have a chat to the woven people. So please get involved in the textile hug. That would be a good name for a project as well, actually. Might save that, nobody take it. So let me get myself comfy. I have done some more work on silver lining this big piece, and I don't know what you can see, but down here, this is the drawing that it's coming from, and I've kind of done a lot of the dark bits here, and it's this area here that I was working on so far today. And if you can see, if I put it up close, can you see how all the marks go in a particular direction? I am fed by the direction and the movement and the way that I've drawn. So very often people say to me when I teach, people kind of say, well, aren't you worried that, well done, Chris, thank you for joining me. People often say, aren't you concerned that people are going to copy you? Because I'm teaching them my embroidery techniques. I do kind of teach them a little bit about copyright as well while I teach. However, I don't really think that many people have the same aesthetic as I do. We all have our own view, our own likes, our own dislikes, our own appreciation for the type of art that we like, and those individual qualities, I hope, come through in the way that I draw, and they are not likely to come through in the way that you draw. And if you do draw, then you will find your own voice, your own artistic voice. You also will not interpret a drawing in the way that I interpret a drawing. So again, there kind of plenty of degrees of separation from a technique of free machine embroidery and the way that we each paint, the way that we each draw, the way that we paint and draw with thread with this free machine embroidery technique. So I am not interested in creating clones. I don't have somebody. I often have students who kind of say, which thread colours do you suggest for this workshop? Or they want a really, really precise list, and I'm just not that kind of prescriptive tutor. I want to create students who can self-evaluate and critique where they are and what they do, and they have their own individual voice and direction. Not mine. I've got mine. I've been working at it, but it's all about you finding yours, and I feel you best do that through drawing and time. It's not an instant process. It's something that takes a lot of time, engaging, soul searching, making mistakes, working out why something went wrong or you weren't happy with it. Being not happy with something is as valuable as being content with an outcome. If hate or dislike of something can be such a strong emotion, sometimes stronger than an appealing one, and so it can be incredibly useful to recognise that in the development of your work. But that doesn't always make people happy instantly. But for me, It's good to make a mistake. It's good to get something wrong. Also shows that you're taking risks and you're moving out of your normal comfort zone. So what I wanted in terms of my little demo for today, I was loving sewing, so I'm going to carry on sewing. It's maybe a little bit selfish of me to just carry on with what I was doing, but that's what I'm going to do because I've got the camera and I'm in charge for these few moments anyway. So I am working on this section up here. I've done a lot of this. It's in a hoop. I'll try and hold it up. It's kind of attached to my sewing machine, but it's this area here, and I am working with a again, some given thread. It's a rayon, viscose rayon, so it's shiny. It's a 40 or 50 weight thread, I think 40, and in order to make it super shiny, I need to do long stitches. So the longer the stitch, the less bend there is in the thread, and that gives me a shinier surface to the stitch. And in particular here, if again we compare it to here, this area to me feels smooth, this area to me feels rough. So that's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm all set up. I've just put a new spool underneath, so I'm going to sew for as long as that lasts. Hopefully nothing breaks, because it's always a worry that on camera it's all going to go to pot. But I'm going to carry on with this area that I've got lined up here. I'm going to pop my sewing glasses on. I'm struggling a little bit with my sight at the moment, which is really bad timing. These are my sewing specs. I don't have reading specs because I don't really like reading. So my sewing specs are the right distance for me to sit up really straight and still see what's going on with the needle. If they were reading glasses, it would be kind of this distance, and that's no good to me. I need sit upright, protect my back, pull the core in. We talked about the core and the need for Pilates to improve your sewing a few weeks ago. So core in, make sure you breathe, have the right glasses on so that you're not damaging the back of your neck or slouching, and make sure machine's clean. Oh, make sure you got out of bed on the right side today. If it's too dry a day, your threads will break. If it's too wet a day, the machine won't be happy. Oh, so many different aspects of this have to be right. And then you've got to try and remember to smile. So change your specs, tilt this down so that you can see. So I can't see what you're commenting on now, so there you go. That's your best view, and I will continue. Also just need to get this foot round the right way. You'll see as well, you see that, no hands. I use a knee lifter. I'm taking my sandals off as well, and I use my left foot on the pedal because I need my right knee for said knee lifter. Quick look, remind myself. Just sense the thread caught round a little bit up here. There we go. Make it a bit happier. So I'm aware this isn't possibly the most exciting thing for you to watch, but once the bottom thread has run out, I'll take it off the machine and I can show you a bit more. Threads broke, so I'll just leave it there and I can show you where I'm at. So this machine, I'll just turn you up. I'm gonna have to change my glasses. This machine goes at 1600 stitches a minute. I'm just gonna read some of these questions. Do I have a start-stop button on my machine? Not on this one, but I do on others. Don't like it. Have I got soluble fabric? Do you have waterfall soluble fabric? Yes, I do. Supporting the edge of the fabric, I've got a bit of water soluble. Yes. It's not my favourite thing in the world, but in this instance, it is quite useful. So I'm going to show you what I've done. So today, or for an hour or so this morning, I've done this white section along here. Okay, there's a lot more to do here, and I want to twist the direction of the stitch so it's going more horizontally in this area as well. And then I know you want to see the back, so on the back it looks much the same as the front, because I haven't got any bobbin fill at the moment, so I'm using the same top stitch thread on the bobbin as I am on the top. It's not what I would normally do, but I'm using what I have. So I'm going to spend another few minutes doing that with my day. I'm going to have some lunch, I'm going to have a Zoom meeting, and then I'm going to sew scrubs as if I've never sewn before. If you are interested in donating any funds towards the cost of the fabric for the scrubs, then my friend Cass Shepherd has created a Just Giving page for that, and I have posted the link on my page, so you can donate there and all that money will all go to the same place. There was no point in me reinventing the wheel and creating another page to raise money. Just going to use hers instead, and all that would be really, really appreciated. We found, or Kath Bradley, who's from Inspirational Sewing in Home Firth, she has found a fantastic source of cheap fabric, and some of that's coming to us, and I think it's some of it is from Paul Smith's shirting that we'll be using, but it's coming our way this afternoon. Thousands and thousands of meters of it. So I'm glad I slept well last night, because it's all steam ahead. I shall see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Again, don't know what I'm going to be talking about. I might indulge myself in another 10 minutes of sewing. Who knows? Sewing my work rather than scrubs. I might be just lying in a heap. I don't know. But I will be here at 1 o'clock nevertheless. Please have a look at my website. I've got workshops on there that may well take you a little bit further forward in terms of finding your own creative voice, particularly developing sketchbooks. That would really get you moving in the right direction. If you're in you're having a bit of a lull, it will give you a kick up the backside, creatively speaking. So until next time, thank you for joining me. I have been Dion Swift, and adios.